From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, April the 26th, 2024. An Israeli civilian was killed in a missile attack from Lebanon on northern Israel overnight last night. The IDF said terrorists launched anti-tank missiles towards the Mount Dov area during the night. As a result of the launch, an Israeli citizen was injured during infrastructure activity in the area, and a short time later, he was pronounced dead. In response, Israel's Air Force attacked terrorist targets of terror group Hezbollah. Ynet named the civilian who was killed as Sharif Suad, a civilian truck driver working with the IDF. The IDF also shared later today that it eliminated a senior member of the terrorist organization Islamic Jama'ah in Lebanon who led attacks against Israel, saying that he promoted many attacks and acts of terrorism from the soil of Lebanon against Israel of late. And this was done also in cooperation with the branch of the terrorist organization Hamas in Lebanon. Israeli troops, meanwhile, continue to battle terror group Hamas in Gaza. And yesterday, the Times of Israel reported that U.S. troops began constructing a pier off the coast of Gaza to increase the flow of aid. The IDF saying this initiative will streamline and expand the delivery of humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip, and that the IDF will act to provide security and logistical support for the initiative. The IDF also said it thwarted an attack in the West Bank, saying IDF forces recently arrested two terrorists who arrived at a farm in the Binyamin area, one of them holding an axe with the intention of carrying out an attack in the area. The IDF said after searching their vehicle, more axes and knives were also found. A 19-year-old woman was seriously injured in what is suspected of being a terror attack, the incident taking place in the central city of Ramla today. The stabber was shot dead. Initial reports suggest that he may have been mentally unstable. Israel police are investigating. Well, Columbia University once again extended its deadline to clear an anti-Israel encampment on campus, saying that talks with the protesting students are continuing. Similar encampments and protests are taking place at numerous colleges, with, according to Reuters, some 550 arrests having been made across the country. The protests have included harassment and verbal and physical threats to Jewish students, and even reports of physical attacks. The CEO of the Anti-Defamation League, Jonathan Greenblatt, said anti-Semitism has been allowed to escalate for far too long, with far too few consequences, and that ADL sent a letter to university presidents on Monday, including to Columbia, where it wrote the campus being taken hostage by anti-Zionist fervor has effectively pushed the school to a breaking point, stressing that while speech critical of Israel and supportive of the Palestinian cause is protected, threats, intimidation, and harassment are not, imploring the school to take decisive action now to protect students on your campus, the ADL wrote. And today, Columbia, Barnard Hillel, Hillel International, the American Jewish Committee, the UJA Federation of New York, and university students held a press conference at the Kraft Center for Jewish Life at Columbia Barnard Hillel, calling on all universities to keep every student, including Jewish students, safe on their campuses. And hundreds gathered near Columbia's campus yesterday to show support for Israel and for the hostages still being held in Gaza now for 203 days, waving Israeli and American flags and singing Israel's national anthem, Hatikva, the Hope. And today, a reported 1,000 people gathered near Columbia in a rally organized by the Hostages and Missing Families Forum New York, a chants it wrote to keep the hostages in our minds and hearts and in the public discourse, with the continued call to bring them home now.
Home! Bring them home! Bring them home! Bring them home!
And the office of the second gentleman, Douglas Emhoff, shared that he spoke with the heads of Hillel and the Orthodox Union at Columbia and Barnard, saying that hate speech and calls for violence against Jews is both anti-Semitic and unacceptable. The conversations also focusing on the immediate need to address anti-Semitism on college campuses. The statement said the second gentleman emphasized that no student should feel unsafe on campus and offered his support on behalf of the administration. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Friday, April the 26th. Live Shabbat services are coming up at 6 o'clock from New York City's Central Synagogue, followed by Shabbat services from the Hampton Synagogue. At 8:30, it's Jacob's Ladder in concert. At 9:30, Shahar Azani speaks with Israeli race car driver Alon. At 10, David Harris is joined by Executive Director of UN Watch, Hillel Neuer. At 10:30, a replay from the Hampton Synagogue, followed by a replay from Central. And coming up next, Rabbi Shlomo Riskin looks at Passover. And a programming note for you for the final days of Passover. We will bring you services from the Hampton Synagogue beginning on Sunday night at 9 Eastern, and then Monday morning and Tuesday morning, and Monday morning services from Central Synagogue as well. As always, you can check our website, jbstv.org, for the full schedule. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, April the 26th, 2024. I'm Teisha Bader. I will be back with the news update on Wednesday. Wishing you a Chag Sameach, a Shabbat Shalom, Am Yisrael Chai.